Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara is promising to return stability to the embattled West African nation. Mr. Ouattara says among his top priorities is restoring normalcy and starting the process of reconciliation.
The president says that there can be no reconciliation without justice, and that to achieve reconciliation there must be forgiveness. Mr. Ouattara revealed that former President Laurent Gbagbo has been moved out of Abidjan to a more secure location within the country, and that he is being treated as a former head of state. Hundreds of people were killed in the post-election violence, and Ouattara says that his government will be very severe in judging those who committed crimes. Now, joining us on the phone with more information of what's going on in Ivory Coast is, of course, our West Africa correspondent, Scott Stearns. How are you, Stearns?
Fine, thank you.
Maybe you can start telling us about what you're seeing as signs of maybe a return to normalcy that Mr. Ouattara is now calling for there in Abidjan.
Most certainly here in Abidjan today, most of the large supermarkets and pharmacies are open, especially in the Kumasi neighborhood, in Makori, in Du Plateau, in parts of Yopougon and Trècheville. Markets are open. Most of the shops are open. Taxis have returned to the roads. There are small queues to buy petrol. Here in the Du Plateau neighborhood, there was a line of maybe 40 people waiting to buy bread, but certainly no panic for people to restock after many residents of Abidjan have not been outside their homes for nearly 2 weeks when the battle for Abidjan began.
Well, obviously a real change of scene there from all the activity that was going on. You also mentioned earlier that there was some movements to repair the presidential residence and office.
The forces loyal to President Ouattara have now finally taken control of the presidential palace in the downtown Plateau neighborhood. That's really been one of the last really dangerous places to go. There's still some overnight looting in Plateau, but Ouattara forces are now in control of the presidential palace with the assistance of UN peacekeepers, and they're setting things up there for Mr. Ouattara's formal inauguration, which should come, if not tomorrow, beginning of next week.
Mm-hmm. Now, also, can you shed light on for us about the status of Mr. Gbagbo himself? Do you know anything about where he's been moved to, and was there any really danger presented to him?
Well, the United Nations and the Ouattara government decided to move Mr. Gbagbo to a secret location, to presidential villa somewhere in northern Ivory Coast. That's as much as we know about it. The Secretary General's Special Representative here in Abidjan, Young-Jin Choi, told reporters just about an hour ago that Mr. Gbagbo is being protected by both UN peacekeepers and the Force Républicaine, which is what the Ouattara forces are now called. And he said it's up to the Ouattara government to decide how Mr. Gbagbo will be prosecuted. Mm-hmm. Mr. Ouattara has said that he expects the former president to face both national and international justice.
All right, we'll be hearing more about that. Thank you so much, Scott Stearns, all the way there from Abidjan with updates in Ivory Coast.